Hi you guys, and welcome back. In today's video, if you saw by the title, I'm going to be reading one of the saddest books in modern day fiction right now, and that is A Little Life. And this has been one of my most anticipated reads. I've just heard so many emotional reviews about this book, and I am just so curious to see what's inside of it. But I am a little scared because I feel like I'm being a little naive about it. So I'm a little nervous to put myself through that. But we're gonna see how sad it is and if it makes me cry. So I'm gonna be taking you guys along with me while I read this book. Today my goal is actually to binge read because I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little nasally. I'm getting over a little cold, so I have nothing else to do other than sit and read. So that's what I'm gonna do. I've actually already started the book. I'm 136 pages in, but if you could see, that is not a lot. This book is actually 800 pages, so I'm still fairly in the beginning. We're still getting to know the characters. If you didn't know anything about this book, it basically follows 4 male characters. They had met in college, and it kind of just follows their adult years after the fact. It also kind of follows a specific character in this book that they give glimpses on that has a very traumatic past, but they don't speak about it. Even within the friend group, nobody really knows what happened to him in his childhood, in his past, just at all. So we're kind of trying to figure out what that is about, but it is kind of just like getting to know these characters. It's very real life, it's very character driven so far, and I believe that it's just going to keep following that way. So I will give you guys updates, and I'm gonna get ready right now to sit down and read. I'm gonna take you guys with me to go make some coffee and then get started. Quick little update. I feel so ridiculous right now because I'm like, let's see if I cry. I'm not even into like any sad parts, and this is the first book I'm annotating, but I annotated something right now and it made me cry. So that scares me. That I may not be strong enough to see what's inside of this, but it was just something so bittersweet and just so well said and written. It got me a little bit. So I'm scared now. I am terrified. So wish me luck. And yeah, this is the first book I'm annotating, so that's kind of exciting, but also really scary because I'm looking for meaning and something that touches my heart. So anyways, I'll update you guys later. I'm only let's see, I'm on page 153 right now, so I'll update you guys probably at the 200 mark. Hi you guys, it's the next day. I guess I'm still a little bit nasally. Anyways, today we're gonna have to do some serious damage and read way more than I did yesterday if we're gonna finish this book in a week. But right now I'm on page 248, and I am just kind of scared on the kind of toll that this might have on me, but I'm also looking forward to reading different genres after this. Like, I think after reading this, I'll be super excited for fantasy. So, just throwing that out there. But it's the next day. I just had breakfast and I'm gonna make some coffee right now. So I will meet you guys, and I don't have like any updates right now. One part made me really happy, which isn't a good thing because just hearing everybody's review, I just know that that's not really gonna last. So that's very unfortunate. So we'll see. I am getting attached to the main character, it's kind of hard not to, especially in his experiences that he has said so far. Like, how could you not feel for this man? So I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna make some coffee, and then we're gonna have to do a reading marathon today. Literally, I need to read as much as I can today to just get the bulk of it over, because we still got a lot to go. So without that being said, anyways, I'll meet you guys later. I'm gonna go make my coffee. I just hit the 300 mark, and I'm about 40% through the book, and it's hard to believe that I have 500 more pages, which is insane to me. But other than that, it's going good. It's just really hard to imagine what those 500 pages are going to be about. It is hard reading about characters that do in a way self-sabotage. You understand why they're self-sabotaging, but it can be a hard read at times. But that's all I have for an update. Hi you guys, it's actually been a couple days and I am halfway through A Little Life. I actually took a little break unintentionally. I wanted to keep reading, but I felt like I needed to process the first 400 pages that I had read before I got into the last half, because that's where it's supposed to be so sad, traumatizing, and heartbreaking. So that obviously is a little intimidating. And I had a lot going on at work where I needed to have happy moments. So I didn't want this to put me in a bad state of mind. And I kind of wanted to just have like a free weekend where I can just think about it and just be present in the book and not have to worry about anything outside. So I stopped recording actually, and I read a part that just made me so mad, and I was so glad that I wasn't recording, because it wasn't like I was crying or anything. I was just furious and I wanted to jump in the book, and like my reactions were a little irrational, so I'm kind of glad I didn't record that. But that's where I'm at right now, so I'm kind of scared to go back into it because I'm so invested now. Like, after being with these characters for 400 pages, and like letting it all sink in, I'm attached, and that's scary. That's not a good thing, I feel like, but it's the purpose of the book, so it's okay, we'll go with it. Anyways, I'm just really scared. I've just been thinking about them for the last couple of days. Just when I'm just driving, I'm just thinking about what happened. I'm just thinking about all the stuff that's going on, and it's pretty crazy. But that's why I'm glad that I didn't read the rest of it, because could you imagine, like, I would be thinking about all that stuff that I haven't read yet, or all the stuff I don't know yet, and that probably would have just altered my brain for when I had to go into work and just do these positive, happy things. So let's dive in. Let's make coffee. It's pumpkin season, so let's try to finish this. I'm so scared. Wish me luck. I just hit page 600 and I want to stop reading. I really do. I'm trying really hard to just power through it, but this is just a little much. And it's getting it's getting me down, as I was warned. 200 more pages to go. Hi, you guys. Let's talk about A Little Life finally. Now, I'm gonna give my most honest review. Probably the most honest I'm ever going to be on this channel. But I would like to say that it did get to a point where I could no longer finish the last 200 pages of the book. I did get to around 600 and something pages. I could not carry on no longer. I decided that it was putting me in such a bad, horrible state of mind, and it was just making me beyond sensitive in the worst ways possible. I know as readers we love to feel. We love our sad books. We do. But this was not just under the category of sad, which I kind of went into more blindly about. I would put this under the category of disturbing, and if I had known how disturbing it was, I would not have picked it up, me personally. I know people like disturbing books, but I just personally don't have, I'm too sensitive at this point in my life to read disturbing books, so I do try to stay away from it. I thought this book was just gonna be more along the lines of sad, just gonna make me cry, maybe I get attached to a character and something happens to them. No, this was extremely intense. The trigger warnings are a big part of the book. If you've seen any reviews of this book, you know they're like, oh, just make sure you look at the trigger warnings. It's not that there are just trigger warnings in this book. There are pages and pages and pages of detailed description of this trigger warning, where it started making me physically sick, and I tried to push through, could not, no longer. I would like to talk about how I can see how captivating this book was. I loved the first like 400 and something pages. I felt so captivating by how beautiful the writing was. I thought this author was so talented, and I was so invested and felt connected to these characters, and I just wanted to be there and help, and just I wanted to interfere so bad because I felt so much for those characters. So when I saw them in pain, I wanted to jump in the book and just be there for them, and like I save them. I don't know, but I was feeling that way for a long, big portion of the book, basically half of the book. But then it gets to a certain part where if you've read the book, you unfortunately know it gets very dark, and it talks about some of the greatest evil in the world, which I am actually going to tell you what this trigger warning is, because I think it's very, very important for you to know about. You know that it is in this book heavily. That is that trigger warning. There's many others that you should really, really look into before you consider reading this book. But with that specific trigger warning, I would like to say that it is one of the most descriptive and ongoing trigger warnings presented in this book. It was so awful reading about that topic, as it should be. I'm aware of that. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you feel for this character. But I personally believe that it was too much. I would have drawn the line at certain points, because I feel this way because it is fiction. Now, if it was a memoir and it was somebody's personal experience, that is where it's okay for them to put all the details in the world. But with this specific one, I believe that it did drag out for too long, and it made me extremely uncomfortable to have to continue reading about it. I understand if there was one scene that was descriptive and we just really needed it to really empathize and understand this character, but me personally, I believe the multiple pages were just too much, especially for how big this book is. I just believe that it could have been cut down tremendously. And then me not reading the last 200 pages, I did decide to look up what happens at the end, and I'm so glad I did that instead of reading it in description, because knowing this author, she puts in every detail possible. So I'm so glad I didn't do that, and I realized, yeah, it would have just been getting worse and worse and worse, and just putting me in a bad mental state of mind. And even though these are trigger warnings that I don't relate to, it somehow started affecting my other triggers. It was so crazy. I think just so many trigger warnings at once. So if you are sensitive, I'm a very sensitive person. I feel like I feel a lot of emotions. So if you're a sensitive person and you do have even other triggers, you're like, oh, I don't have those triggers, I'll be fine. That's what I thought. No, it somehow was starting to affect my other trigger warnings. This is my personal opinion. I don't want to talk poorly of it. I'm just trying to be as real and honest as I can be, so that nobody goes into it as blind and naive and does more research on it before they go into a sad and disturbing book. I feel like, can we start labeling it that? If we start labeling it sad and disturbing, yeah, I just wanted to be honest with you guys. I understand why it is some people's favorite books. Of course, you're going to be so emotionally invested. I just personally could no longer continue with the book with how it was making me feel, and I know that some people would relate to that. So for the people that would relate to that, I hope you take into consideration of what I am saying. If not, do what you please. I just personally would not recommend, but I am excited to start reading other things, especially how this book made me feel. I'm going to start going back into fantasy and doing better book reviews, because unfortunately this is unsatisfying that I was not able to finish this book. But thank you guys so much for watching and hearing me out in my opinion, and I would like to know your guys' opinions, because it just brings different perspectives of what maybe I'm missing, or maybe I don't know. But I will see you guys next time. Thank you.